wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast and Happy New Year 2022. This is our final episode reviewing Book 5 of the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. I wanted to pick one of Marcus's books and go through it in its entirety. Probably not the whole Meditations, because it does get a bit repetitive and I don't have a great translation to read from. I get sick of reading old 1800s English, people trying to copy the Bible and the way they write. But this is a pretty good translation we've been working with here, I think. And this last couple of readings from the book focuses partially on breaking things down, putting things in perspective, using that Stoic technique to put things in perspective of breaking things down, reminding yourself what things really are that you value, and trying to see things from that light. And reminding himself finally the ultimate of what we need to be happy, which is putting our desires into check and practicing virtue, making beautiful choices leading to a beautiful life. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 5, number 33. You will quickly be reduced to ashes and skeleton. And maybe you will have a name left you, and maybe not. And what is a name? Nothing but sound and echo. And then, for those things which are so much valued in the world, they are miserably empty and rotten and insignificant. It is like puppies snarling for a bone, and the contests of little children, sometimes transported and then again all in tears about a plaything. And as for modesty and good faith, truth and justice, they have fled up to Olympus from the widespread earth. And now, what is it that can keep you here? For if the objects of sense are floating and changeable, and the organs misty and apt to be imposed on, if the soul is but a vapor drawn off the blood, and the applause of little mortals insignificant, if the case stands thus, why not have patience till you are either extinguished or removed? And till that time comes, what is to be done? The answer is easy: to worship the gods, and speak honorably of them, to be beneficial to mankind, to bear with them or avoid them, and lastly to remember that whatever lies without the compass of your own flesh and breath is nothing of yours, nor in your power. Number 34. You may be always successful if you do but set out well and let your thoughts and practices proceed upon right method. There are two principles and privileges common to the soul of God and man and all rational beings. The one is not to be hindered by anything external. The other, to make virtuous intention and action their supreme satisfaction, and not so much as to desire anything further. Number 35. If this accident is no fault of mine, nor a consequence of it, and besides, if the community is never worse for it, why am I concerned? Now, how is the community injured? Number 36. Do not suffer a sudden impression to overbear your judgment. Let those that want your assistance have it, as far as the case requires. But if they are injured in matters indifferent, do not consider it any real damage, for that is a bad habit. But as the old man, when he went away, asked back his foster child's top, remembering that it was a top, so do in this case also. When you are haranguing in the rostra, a little of this to yourself would not be amiss. Hark you, friend, have you forgotten what this glitter of honor really is? I grant it is but tinsel, but for all that is extremely vaulted. And because other people are fools, must you too be so? I can at once become happy anywhere, for he is happy who has found for himself a happy life. In a word, happiness lies in all the functions of reason, in warrantable desires, and virtuous practice. All right. You will quickly be reduced to a skeleton, and nothing but your name will be left. And what is that but a sound and echo? Not even really a physical thing, but a vibration of air. That's what he's reminding himself of. So, why is he doing this? Reminding himself not to get attached to unimportant things. What are these things that people value so much? They're really just rotten and insignificant. These things we chase are one day to be dust, right? This house I'm paying for will one day literally be dust. The power we seek is just the opinion of stupid people. He says it's like puppies fighting with each other, or little kids playing with each other and happy, and then mad at each other, and then angry at their toys. You know, it's just silly. We are nothing but puppies or children playing with toys, putting value into things that really are dust. And what about the things that are truly good? Modesty, good faith, truth, justice. As he quotes from an ancient play, they have left the earth, they've gone up to Olympus. They are hard to find down here. So what is it we need to do to find down here? And he reminds himself that, you know, what is it that I am? And he quotes some Stoic ideas that he is but vapor, you know, like, so you're just some meat. You're a piece of meat with some vapor, which is the soul. And they thought the soul was partially renewed by evaporation of the blood. Okay, so we don't need to go down that road too far. But anyway, here you are. You're just this thing that's only temporary. Even your soul, by the Stoics, is thought to most likely, at least, be temporary. So what do we do until then? If nothing seems fixed and permanent, worship the gods, speak honorably of them, and be good to mankind. So live according to nature. Worship the gods in whatever way you see fit. That might mean being a churchgoer. That might mean, if you're not a belief in gods in the divine sense, but you respect nature, then do things according to nature, right? Plant a tree. Take care of the world. Take care of humanity. Speak honorably. Be a good person. And remember that anything that lies outside of your will is really out of your power and none of your business in the Stoic sense. And don't get upset by it. Don't attach too much value to it like a child would a toy. The next reading. In the next reading, he reminds himself that we will always be successful if we set out well, meaning we try using a sense of reason. We have put our effort into something. That is where success lies, not in the outcome. Proceed by the right method, by virtuous act. And this rationality we have is the one common thing we have that we share with the gods, according to Marcus. And it is unhinderable by external things. So it's your desire, it's your will, it's the things you are trying to accomplish. That is where the good lies. Make virtuous intention and action your supreme satisfaction. This is sort of some super deep and important Stoic advice here. Make virtuous intention and action be your supreme satisfaction, not the outcomes, your intention and the actions you take, the choices you make and the reasons behind them, and the actions you take to implement them are where your full satisfaction should lie, where the good life is, not in what happens. Do not desire anything further than that, only that you make good choices and have good reasoning behind them, and the actions you take are put into place by those desires that you have, those good desires that you have. In the next reading, a very short reading, if something happens and it's not really my fault, and the community is not worse for it, why am I concerned? How is the community injured? This idea, of course, probably more important to an emperor, but I guess if you're running a business or something as well, okay, something happened. It's not what I wanted to happen. I didn't cause it, at least not on purpose. Are we really worse for it? No. Okay, let's just move on. Let's move on. let's move on. Not important. And finally, the last reading from this book. Once again, breaking things down, reminding himself to focus on reality. Do not suffer a sudden impression to overbear your judgment. Don't let impressions and the opinions that others have destroy your good, sound, stoic judgment. If someone wants your assistance, lend it to them as far as is needed, but not so far maybe as they want, but as far as their case requires. Don't overtax yourself. And if they're injured in matters indifferent, don't really consider it real damage. I know that Robin Waterfield talks about this relating to the Epictetus's idea of if someone loses a child, hug them, moan with them, but don't moan internally. So if someone lost a house, lost a loved one, you can say, well, I'm very sorry and do legally what needs to be done there, but don't consider it a true bad thing that has happened to them because it's just how the world works. It's a bad habit if we start indulging that idea. And then he says, but as the old man, when we get, but as the old man, when he went away, asked back his foster child's top. This is a reference to something, but I have no idea what. But what he's saying here, I believe, is remember, material possessions come and go. They are not ours. Apparently, there must have been a play or something where a child had a top and his foster dad was leaving, and he said, I want my top back. Well, the kid has to remember it's just a top. It's just a thing. It's not truly mine. It's going to go away. I love this top, like the previous reading, that we heard about with kids playing with things and then getting mad. We love these toys. We think they're the ultimate thing. Think about how much you may have thought the world revolved around some toy you used to want or even had, and how meaningless it is now, right? And so he says, remember that. It's easy to think about that when it comes to a top, but remember when you're standing at the platform speaking to the Senate, this is the same thing. It's a top. It's a stupid toy. What is this honor? This glitter of honor? It's nothing but tinsel, like I see on my Christmas tree to the left of me right now as I speak. It's just silly little cheap tinsel. But for many, it's very much valued. Does that mean I should value it? Just because everyone else is stupid, does that mean I should be stupid? No. I'm trying to live the happy life. I can be happy anywhere, he says. For he is happy who has found for himself a happy life. And where does happiness lie? In desires that are warranted by reason and virtuous practice. Going back to that very important part from that other reading where he reminds himself where the good lies. And the good lies simply in making good judgments and good intentions and good actions, not in the outcomes, not in the opinions of the masses. So let this new year be one where you say, the hell with glittering gold, it's nothing but tinsel. The opinions of others is but a child crying over a top, or dogs fighting over a bone. I will be my own person. I will live according to virtue, according to nature. And I will end this year further up the mountain towards sagehood than I began it. May I not slip down lower, and may I help someone behind me gain a foothold as well. Let that be your marching order. Happy New Year, everyone. I may take some time off and reflect on what to do next with the Sunday Stoic podcast. But until then, seize the day. Carpe diem.